NASCAR Saturday show is back, and it will pull the strings of nostalgic NASCAR fans all across America this season. It's the highest form of stock car racing with team-built chassis, 5 lug nuts, and quite a few competitive cars with full season sponsorship. Plus, most important of all, the 2022 NASCAR Xfinity Series season has a new logo.
Let's see it purple!
Although, in my honest opinion, I like the red better, we have an awesome 2022 NASCAR Xfinity Series regular season on our hands. The Arrow Motorsports team gets the talents of Brett Moffitt for a full-time season and a run at the Xfinity Championship. It's a prime opportunity for this O2 team. Moffitt scored 10 top 10 finishes last year, highlighted by his second place effort in the season opener at Daytona. With continual improvement from Chris Hour's organization, it's not impossible to see Moffitt in a playoff spot come September. Joe Graf Jr. reprises his important role of building up the SS Greenlight Racing team, an organization that will form an alliance with Stewart-Haas Racing, getting cars, technical support, and Roush Yates engines for the entirety of the 2022 season. This will not be a favorable move for the negative echo chamber known as NASCAR Twitter, but for Greenlight, they could be a massive sleeper team, and I would not, under any circumstance, write them out of playoff contention. The Junior Motorsports car number 1 has been passed down from veteran Michael Annett, who has retired to work on a potential charter boat business in Charleston, to a young driver nearly half his age in Sam Mayer. I'm gonna be real here, Sam Mayer needs to be in a GMS truck, not the NASCAR Xfinity Series. This driver could seriously become the next big superstar in the Chevrolet pipeline, but for some reason the Driver Edge Development Program wants him in NASCAR Saturday show when he is clearly not ready for it. I mean, just look at Kansas last year. His inexperience nearly ruined teammate Noah Gregson's chances of making it to the championship. Despite having a stable crew chief in Taylor Moyer to guide him, I have a gut feeling Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s race car graveyard is going to have a lot more carcasses dropped off than usual. Mayer's career trajectory should have mimicked that of Sheldon Creed. He tore up quite a bit of equipment in his rookie season, but by his final race as a full-time truck driver, you could tell Creed was a NASCAR name on the rise. You could feel it. This leads the 2020 NASCAR Truck Series champion Richard Childress Racing, where he will not have to stress about funding like he has in his Truck Series tenure. Whelen Engineering puts up the big money necessary for all 33 races in this 2022 campaign. Sheldon Creed's arrival is a warm welcome for the RCR Xfinity program after 2 years of struggles with Myatt Snyder and Anthony Alfredo. Creed is basically Tyler Reddick 2.0 with a shiny Truck Series trophy, and if you are a RCR Xfinity fan, you are going to love this guy. Now, I would expect some growing pains to begin the season, but after that, I think he is going to win a lot of races in the second half of the season. He will be a contender for this championship. Justin Allgaier enters year 7 at Junior Motorsports as the rock for the team. He, Jason Burdett, and team number 7 have won races, won a regular season championship, and are almost always contending well into the final month of the season. What the Illinois driver is still missing is that NASCAR Xfinity Series championship, a taint in Allgaier and this 7 team's legacy. There are no questions with this team in the regular season. Allgaier will win some races, mark my words. It will be the postseason where the Brandt team gets battle tested, and we'll see if this is finally the year where he can win that championship and cement himself as one of the best Xfinity drivers of all time. Josh Berry is the embodiment of the old NASCAR, the days where drivers in their early 20s were racing late models instead of Cup Series cars. Berry cut his teeth at the local tracks hoping to work up to the big show, and following his 2 victories in JRM equipment last year, he gets to represent his boss Dale Earnhardt Jr. by carrying the legacy of car number 8. Veteran JRM crew chief Mike Bumgarner will guide him in his first full-time season, though he will not run for the Rookie of the Year honors after his unsuccessful bid in 2021. Maybe that's for good reason, as Josh Berry probably doesn't care about winning the Rookie of the Year. He wants to win races and potentially win a championship come November. Noah Gragson had the Black Rifle coffee in his veins for the do-or-die Martinsville race. A clutch victory to end the miseries of coming up short of the championship race. This would prove to be the final Xfinity win for crew chief Dave Ellens as he moves up to the NASCAR Cup Series with Eric Jones. Luke Lambert, veteran of the top echelon of NASCAR, moves down to crew chief Gregson in year 4. And I have to say, it is a solid hire as Noah Gragson has his sights locked onto the NASCAR Cup Series, making starts for both Beard Motorsports and Kaulig Racing this season. And that is why there's a compelling argument to be made that he's going to veteran up this season and win a bunch of races. Going to be entertaining to see this character put on a show on and off the track. NASCAR's Voyager driver, Landon Castle, will take his talents to the competitive, energizing Kaulig Racing team, signing a 2-year deal with Voyager and pairing up with Jason Trinchier in Castle's first competitive NASCAR ride in over a decade, dating all the way back to his days in the National Guard car as a Hendrick prospect. That is hard to believe. Back then, it was clear he wasn't ready for the bright lights in the moment. Now, with all the seasoning, he will be ready at age 32 to make the most of this opportunity. And I expect the Purple car to win in the Purple Series at least once this year, maybe even 3-4 times, and lead the Kaulig team in this 2022 effort. I just gotta say this, the human experience has seen a lot of crazy things happen in the past 2 years. However, Daniel Hamrick winning a race tops the next craziest thing, Americans of all people advocating for censorship. Just seeing this guy do a backflip and celebrating, it was something straight out of the Twilight Zone. Did I also mention he's the defending series champion? Hamrick looks to run it back this time with Kaulig Racing, replacing Justin Haley as he goes on to do bigger and better things for the team's cup program. As I Love You Poppy gets played during this championship defense year, expect Daniel Hamrick to do what he does best with Alex Janst and the 11 team. Start consistent, get 3rd to 5th place finishes, don't win any races, but finish the season strong. AJ Almeninger is a rare breed in NASCAR. This has been a driver that has added some extra tread to his career with his 5-win 2021 campaign that included the regular season championship. He is a living example of the male advantage. Seeing his NASCAR career blossom at the ripe age of 40 is an inspiring story still being written in the storybooks. I would have no doubts about the Dinger, except for Kaulig Racing potentially pulling a DEI 2005 within their organization. Bruce Slicker comes over to the 10 team to crew chief for the defending regular season champion in this 2022 campaign. The team's performance could get a bit iffy, but I think it's going to be hard to keep AJ Allmeninger down and depressed with the energy he carries every single week. I do not expect them to fall off a ton. So it's been 5 years since Brandon Jones joined Joe Gibbs Racing. 4 years since Jeff Mendering took over after squandering Cole Custer's chances at the 2018 championship. They've had time to develop this program, but still, nobody takes this 19 team seriously, except for Menards, helping the team save big money on car repairs with a full season's worth of sponsorship. Now, while one may cling on to hope that he embodies the spirit of the Allmendinger and peaks later in his career, Brandon Jones' career, it just seems stuck. I expect the typical round of 12 exit and potentially a win from this group, and that's it. The team's hope this season just seems as bare as the shelves at Menards due to the supply chain issues. Despite his consistency in wins at Hattori, Austin Hill failed to even make it to the NASCAR Truck Series Championship, bowing out of the hunt in some of the most heartbreaking ways possible. I'm sure graduation to the NASCAR Xfinity Series for Hill sounds premature, but this is the Richard Childress Racing team we're talking about. Just remember back to Tyler Reddick when he joined in 2019. He was inconsistent as all hell, with his championship seen as illegitimate to many. He used that to become a legitimate driver, and the rest is history. The duo of Sheldon Creed and Austin Hill, I'll tell you, they have the potential to re-energize a Richard Childress Racing team that played second fiddle to their own satellite team for the past 2 years. I expect some big things from this organization, and they are off to a hot start already. Potentially this could be the stepping stone to lead the banner for Chevrolet this season. 2021 NASCAR Cup Series rookie contender Anthony Alfredo gets the justifiable demotion in 2022. Let's be honest, he had no business racing in the top echelon of NASCAR last year. Xfinity with Our Motorsports will allow him to make those rookie mistakes and articulate his craft of driving a stock car. If he limits those, he'll have the chance to turn a Michelin's meal into a 5-star delicacy by making his first NASCAR Xfinity postseason. The Our 3-car team ends with an exclamation mark, literally, as Jeb Burton gets to drive the 27 car after Nutrient Ag Solutions hurt his chances of getting renewed at Kaulig. I want to make that clear because he was not horrible in that car. In fact, he won more races than Ross Chastain and could have made a deeper run at the postseason if it weren't for that wreck at Las Vegas. Chris Auer is truly going all in with Auer Motorsports, 3 drivers with Cup experience with equipment that can compete in a competitive NASCAR Xfinity Series garage. Lots of high hopes for this group. Ryan Sieg and Ryan Sieg Racing, they were the most disappointing driver team combo of last season. To see a 39 team that had progressed so much crash and burn was a depressing sight to see. The team will hope to prove that season was a fluke and build up their technical alliance with Stewart-Haas Racing even further. CMR Roofing will continue their loyal support, so the funding is there. Now it's just time to rebuild the foundation and have a good season. Jeremy Clements was an unsung hero of the 2021 NASCAR Xfinity Series season by defying all odds to return to the postseason. The series underdog will hope to do it again with the ECR horsepower returning for another ride, although this journey will be a lot tougher now with the extra RCR and JRM cars in the mix. Not impossible, but Clements and crew will need to step it up. Probably the worst kept secret in NASCAR history, 19-year-old Ty Gibbs will race for the NASCAR Xfinity Series Championship with Joe Gibbs Racing, a driver that has done so little to start his career, it is minuscule. He only managed to win his first career NASCAR sanctioned race at the Daytona Road Course, joining a list alongside a cast of forgettable drivers, including high school dropout Dale Earnhardt. He did put up 4 wins after that, but come on guys, there is nothing special about this kid at all. He's probably going to be another Brad Coleman for Joe Gibbs Racing. Brandon Brown's career changed forever with his victory at the Talladega Superspeedway. And no, it was not the win, rather one of the biggest botches in live television history. Not only made Brandon Brown a household name, but sparked a nationwide cultural phenomenon, the Let's Go Brandon movement. We got memes, we got music, we got all kinds of stuff. It was a legendary time, and everyone relished in this chant except for one, and that was Brandon Brown. His team lost sponsorship opportunities, and Brown himself was worried about being canceled. Brandon Blimp Motorsports tried to make a ride out of a troubling situation by signing LGB Coin as a full-time sponsor, only to be shut down by NASCAR. An organization that has definitely not been hypocritical in this situation when it comes to politics. They have kept their hands clean. Definitely none of their former CEOs have endorsed a presidential candidate ever. I'll honestly be surprised if Brandon Blimp Motorsports makes it through the entire season. If anything, just making it to Daytona is a miracle. Terrible Herbst, Riley Herbst, returns for year 3 of his NASCAR Xfinity Series journey. And to be honest, and to trigger NASCAR Twitter, the echo chamber is going to be steaming after this. His struggles the past 2 years were excusable. 2020, he was rushed into a Joe Gibbs Racing Xfinity car when he was not ready, suffering as a rookie during a pandemic. Last year, Stewart-Haas Racing was a disaster of an organization. As for this year, with year 2 with Richard Boswell, this is a make it or break it year for Riley Herbst and his NASCAR career. There are 9 competitive Chevrolet drivers compared to just 1 competitive Ford team. The 98 team is the leader of the Blue Oval, and with the Penske 22 ceasing operations, Riley Herbst is expected to carry the torch. Either he will, or in 2023 he will be out and Hailie Deegan will get that chance to do something he has not done to this point, and that is visit Victory Lane. Rounding out the roster are a few unsung heroes that keep this series at a healthy car count. And that is JD Motorsports first off, and they will field cars for both Bailey Curley and Ryan Vargas full time. Myatt Snyder began his tenure with Jordan Anderson Racing thinking he was in Cape Canaveral with how his race finished on Saturday. He will hope to stay grounded this weekend at Auto Club. The Big Machine Racing team gets an enhanced technical partnership from the Richard Childress Racing organization with the jack of all trades racer Jade Buford behind the wheel of car number 48. Finally, we have the BJ McLeod team fielding cars for Josh Williams and Stefan Parsons in the 78 and 99 respectively. The 41st year of NASCAR Xfinity Series racing does not have as radical of a schedule as we saw in 2020 and 2021, but there are still a few significant changes to the regular season. Auto Club Speedway makes its return this weekend after getting swapped out for the Daytona Road Course in 2021. The lone Xfinity race at Richmond takes place in April, returning to the spring for the first time since 2019. And on June 4th, this series heads to Portland, though it should be part 2 of a triple header at Worldwide Technology Raceway for the lone Northeast stop for NASCAR's top 3 divisions. Finally, at the expense of Homestead, Miami, the Kansas Speedway gets a regular season race in September slotting in as the second to last chance to decide the 2022 NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs. A thrill-seeking 26-race regular season to determine just who will make it and be the cast of drivers battling it out for 12 postseason spots. So who do I have making it in? Despite my question marks with the 16 team, AJ Almeninger successfully defends his regular season championship on top of 5 victories. Ty Gibbs, he's going to do nothing special in his rookie season. Sheldon Creed anchors the RCR duo with 3 victories in the NBC portion of the season. Noah Gregorson, Justin Allgaier, and Josh Berry give the Junior Motorsports team 5 wins and playoff seeds 4, 5, and 6. Austin Hill's Daytona win gets him in the playoffs. Landon Castle also wins, as well as, here we go, Riley Herbst. Yes, I'm sticking with it. He is going to win a race this season with the Stewart-Haas Racing team. As for the drivers on points, Daniel Hamrick continues to do what works for him. He will point his way into the dance without winning a race once again. Brandon Jones and Jeremy Clements also take the harder path to the NASCAR Xfinity playoffs. There's a lot of competition that did not make the cut, most notably the inexperienced Sam Mayer, so there is the potential for unpredictability, something that goes well with NASCAR like bread and butter. So anyways guys, this is Nathan for NR Productions signing out, and just remember guys and gals, life's a beach and then you drive.